The Bug Bucks Podcast!
If I'm starting a pest control company right now in 2025, these are the first 5 hires that I make if I want to build a pest control company that has the groundwork to scale quickly. You need to hire that first technician before you're ready. Because think about it, if you're the one that's doing all the stops, the admin, the payroll, paying the vendors, working on the website, you're doing sales calls, that actually doesn't help you, even though you think it does. You've got to stop the day-to-day, every day, all day, I'm running a route. And the reason why is because you can't grow your company that way. This is the ultimate freedom, in my opinion. This is why I build businesses, is so that I can do what I want to do. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Bug Bucks Podcast. I'm your host, Allan Draper. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy life. I know what it's like being pulled in a million different directions as you're starting and you're growing. You're getting to even those of you that are getting to a nice place with your pest control company. This is a really important episode today. You're not going to want to miss it. Before we get into it, make sure that you've joined our Facebook group, BUGBUX. Find us on Facebook, Bug Bucks. Also, if you're not a subscriber to the Bug Bucks Plus platform, make sure that you change that. There's so much helpful information in there. There's so many courses that you have access to. And then you're also going to get exclusive access to our vendor list and the specific deals that our vendors are offering. I recently recorded an episode with Seth Watson from Focus Virtual Assistants. I need you to do 2 things. I need you to check them out online, Focus Virtual Assistants, and then I need you to listen to that episode. If you're focused on building your team, having a strong company culture, learning in this process of how to treat personnel and people, you don't want to miss that episode. So go back after you listen to this one, go back and listen to Seth and check them out. They have an exclusive deal with Bug Bucks Plus, but you have to be a member in order to qualify for that. So today I'm going to tell you, if I'm starting a pest control company right now, right, in 2025, I started a pest control company in 2015, so we're 10 years old. We have 9 locations, I believe. Depends on your definition of 9 locations. I think we have 15 or 16 different brick and mortar buildings, but we've built a nice company over the last decade. And I think things are different, to be honest with you. And so my advice today is going to be different than it would have been 10 years ago. But these are the first 5 hires that I make in 2025, if I want to build a pest control company that has the groundwork to scale quickly. Now, keep in mind that as I'm doing this, as I'm building this company, it all comes down to me or you, the owner, to fill in the gaps. So let's jump right in. Obviously, you're going to be the first employee, whether or not you get paid. You're the first one working for your company. And then a lot of companies or a lot of folks will use different people. They'll use their children or their husband or wife or other people to kind of fill in the gaps, especially early on. But your first hire, and there's no question, your first hire needs to be a technician. Nothing else. The reason why is a lot of you are technicians or a lot of you have technical experience. And if you're familiar with the E-Myth, you know what type of trap that comes with that. I'm kind of lucky. This is going to sound weird, but I'm kind of lucky that I didn't really grow up in the pest control industry. And frankly, I don't know a lot about the technical aspects of it. I've, been licensed in a few states and I've teched mostly out of need, but I didn't develop this affinity that a lot of you have for the technical aspects of pest control. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. The only issue is, does it prohibit you from working on other aspects of your company? And the reason why is because you can hire technicians while you focus on other things. So number 1, you need to hire a technician, and not just any technician. Your very first technician needs to be somebody that you see as a future leader. And you talk to this person early on as if that's the plan, because that is the plan. You are hiring this technician to eventually be a lead technician, a service manager, a branch manager, maybe a market manager. Maybe this person ends up running the company. That might be a stretch. But you hire somebody that you can build a company around and that can help you and do all these things. A lot of the questions that I get revolve around, well, when do I make that first hire? And I understand this question. When I started Proof, we had some funding. We didn't have that much. Like you'd be surprised. We didn't have a ton of money, and I had a door-to-door sales team that was very expensive and some other things. And so the common concern or hesitation with that first hire is, hey, I don't know if I can meet payroll. And hey, trust me, like I get that. And I know the amount of pressure that comes with that. And you want to be responsible. You want to be able to, when somebody, they count on you to feed their family, that's a new level of commitment and responsibility that you have to your business. But you need to hire that first technician before you're ready. And by ready, I mean a couple of things. One, I don't think that you necessarily need to have 2 routes. Actually, you definitely shouldn't. You need to hire them before you have 2 routes, and possibly you need to hire them before you have 1 full route. Because think about it, if you're the one that's doing all the stops and you're doing the admin, the payroll, you're paying the vendors, you're working on the website, you're doing, sales calls, all those things, you don't have a full route yet. Unless you're working 80 hours a week, which I know some of you are, but you shouldn't be. You should actually check out my book so that you know how to avoid that, and so that you know that actually doesn't help you, even though you think it does. I'm thinking by the time you're around half to a 3/4 of a full route, you need to hire somebody, and you need to make sure that that person is getting trained and getting immersed in your company culture. The only hesitation there is like 2 things. How fast is my company growing? And that's one. And number 2 is, what are the financial resources that I have? So if your company's been around for a decade and you don't have a full route yet, don't hire a technician when you have half a route, right? Hopefully you have more than a route after a decade. But those are the 2 questions. But hire the technician before you're ready, because then that puts this pressure on you to go out and sell, which when you get out of the truck, at least on the day-to-day basis, it's going to take you until you probably have 6 to 8 techs, depending on your personality, before you're completely out of a truck. But you've got to stop the day-to-day, every day, all day, I'm running a route. And the reason why is because you can't grow your company that way. You can take on all these other tasks, but until somebody's taking that day-to-day off of your shoulders, it's going to be really difficult for you to grow your company.
We're going to take a quick moment to highlight one of the premier sponsors of the BugBucks Plus platform. Are you struggling to find reliable, high-performing employees without breaking the bank? Let's be real, hiring office staff is hard, but what if you could hire someone better than your in-house team for 1/3 of the cost? That's why smart business owners are turning to Focus Virtual Assistants. Their VAs are trained, vetted, and ready to work today, and they cost 1/3 of what you'd pay a domestic hire. We're talking top-tier talent, handling admin, sales, customer service, you name it. Focus Virtual Assistants also offers month-to-month agreements, so you can hire top-tier talent for either short-term projects or long-term support. Focus on what you do best and let them take care of the rest. Build, scale, and grow with Focus Virtual Assistants. To learn more about how they can take your company to the next level, DM the phrase Virtual Assistants to the BugBucks Facebook page, and remember to ask about special discounts for BugBucks Facebook members and BugBucks Plus subscribers. Now back to the BugBucks podcast.
All right, so number 1, we hire a tech that's a future leader to get you out of the truck all day long, right? You're still going to be doing, emergency calls. Your technician calls in sick. You're going to be doing a route. You're going to be filling in upset customers that request you, things like that. You're not out of the truck just yet. I'm going to try to get you there though. Number 2 is I need you to hire an office admin of some sort that is a Swiss Army knife. And what I mean by that is you hire somebody that isn't necessarily an expert in one thing. Like, hey, that person is incredible with customer service calls, but doesn't really know how to use a computer or has never looked at a P&L before. That's not who we're looking for. We're looking for somebody that can complement a lot of the different early tasks that are happening all on their own. So they can take a customer service call, they can do okay closing a sale if they need to, they can pay vendors, they can respond to emails, they can help in employee interviews, they can talk about the future of the company, they can act as an assistant to you to some extent, but they can do all these things. Here's the future of that person. This person is not always going to be in this role. Eventually, you're going to find what this person is really, really good at and something they care a lot about, and you're going to plug them into that role, and they're going to love it. And you're going to keep them forever because they're doing something they're really good at. They're doing something that they really like to do, and they're going to be making more money because they're bringing that much more value to your company. Now, here's the thing is that's going to take a while for that to happen. And a lot of the experience is going to come from what they learn from your company. So we're not looking for a highly specialized individual in one particular area. We're looking for the Swiss Army knife of office admins. We recently talked to Seth. I mentioned that you need to check out his podcast episode, and that position may or may not be filled by him. So something to keep in mind. All right, number 3, I'm cheating here a little bit because this is not an employee. So number 3 on your hire list is an accountant. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you need somebody to make sure that your financial books are in order. And the reason why this is number 3 and not number 1, because financial records are so important and you need to be doing them from day one so that you know the metrics of your company. But in the beginning, you're going to do it. You're going to use QuickBooks or some other online tool. And it's really easy to put things into different accounts and categorize expenses. Hiring this person at stage 3 is going to do a couple of things for you. The first thing I want this person to do, and by the way, this is not a full-time employee. You're not big enough yet. This is a part-time contractor. This is somebody that you pay 3 to 4 hours a month in the beginning. The first thing that you're going to ask them to do is to make sure that your chart of accounts is correctly set up. And by the way, depending on how fast your company grows, we're on number 3 here. And number 3 for me was hired, I think, in the first month. Now, not everyone grows that quickly, and some grow a lot more quickly than we did. But this is quick. So what I'm saying is that you're not having years and years and years of crappy financial statements. And they shouldn't be too crappy because you should be doing them. And you should be learning online and YouTube videos about building a correct P&L and things like that. And BugBucks Plus has great resources for how to properly set up a P&L and accounting practices. That's number 3, an accountant contractor that helps with number 1, I said, checking out your chart of accounts. And then what we're going to get into is we're going to make sure that things are in the right categories. So your tech wages aren't in vendors or your products. And here's why that matters. The gross profit of a company, or the way that I use gross profit, is more what accountants call a contribution margin. But that helps me know, like, hey, how much does it cost me to do a service? And the reason why that's important is so that I can properly price my services and I can actually produce a net profit. That's what we're after right here, folks. We need to know that we're making money from what we're doing. Otherwise, we're not going to be doing it very long. BugBucks is proud to partner with JT Eaton. JT Eaton is a family-owned and operated manufacturer of quality pest control products since 1932. Did you know that JT Eaton invented the first bait block and the first manufactured rodent glue trap? Since then, JT Eaton has continued to innovate with products like Little Pete Multiple Catch Mouse Trap, Zendo Zone's fruit fly traps, cleverly disguised as succulent plants, and the new stretch long extension poles that collapse to 3 feet and extend to 15 feet. JT Eaton is JT awesome. So when you get those numbers in hand, now that you have an accountant, and hopefully this accountant is a little better than you, but not a ton. It shouldn't be night and day. It should just, each step of these, we're making incremental progress. You're going to know your numbers better. You're going to make sure your financials are in really good shape so that you can make decisions like, hey, how much should I pay my technician? In order to answer that question, a lot of people say, they ask the BugBucks group, hey, how much are you paying your technicians? That's fine anecdotal data. That's fine. It's not a bad place to start. But their company is different than your company. So you may have more room to pay a technician more or not enough. And the only way you're going to know is because you need to know how much it costs for you to operate so you can still secure a net profit margin. I think it's awesome to pay your people as much as you can because then you save yourself so much headache down the road with hiring and retraining and replacing and recruiting and all these things. That's one area, this is kind of a side tangent, that like I look at a P&L and I'll look at tech labor, for example, and how much I'm spending. I'll specifically look at it in terms of my gross revenue. What percentage of my gross revenue am I spending year to date on tech labor? I love that specific metric, and with all different categories. I love knowing the margin, or I should say what percentage of gross revenue I'm spending on a particular category. And then I like looking at past years because it really puts things in context. But as I'm looking at a P&L, I am looking at where I can become more efficient or where I can cut costs in certain areas, but I do not look to necessarily cut costs with labor. What I look to is increase efficiency. What does that mean? It means you're not looking to pay people less. You're looking to help your people be more efficient. If you hire really good people, this is no problem. If you hire really bad people by not paying them enough or a list of things, not having a good company culture, they don't have the equipment they need, you don't listen to them, then you have other problems. Don't be the person that looks to pay their people as little as humanly possible. It's not good for them. It's not good for you. Trust me. All right. On to number 4. We have just a few minutes left here. The 4th person that I would hire is a dedicated sales rep. This doesn't have to be a door-to-door rep. Can be. If it is a door-to-door rep, it needs to be a manager type level person. You can't just run into somebody at your church or your kid's school that says that they're interested in selling door-to-door and they're going to do it on their own, because they won't, and it won't work. You need a sales rep, whether it is kind of a experienced manager level door-to-door rep or an internal rep that does mostly inbound stuff, but that can still do outbound warm type lead work when they aren't busy, or somebody that is doing a lot of knocking doors in terms of businesses or outreach or looking for referrals, but you need a sales rep. And some people would put sales rep higher on this list. At Proof, our first hire actually wasn't a technician. It wasn't an office admin. It wasn't an accountant. Our first hire was actually a sales rep because we were building our door-to-door sales team.
What's up, Bug Bucksers? Jake here. Pest management professionals deserve the #1 tools in the trade. Syngenta gel baits are rigorously tested and developed to help deliver effective, reliable pest control. Labeled for ants and cockroaches, these gel baits are formulated for palatability, resistance management, and more. To learn more about Syngenta gel baits, visit syngentapmp.com/gel baits or DM Syngenta to the Bug Bucks Podcast Facebook page. Now back to the Bug Bucks Podcast.
All right, number 5. So let's go through them again. So number 1 is you want to hire a tech that is going to be a leader in your company. Number 2, you want an office admin that is the Swiss Army knife of people, so that you can use that person as a future leader, and specifically they can get into something very specific that they enjoy and they're really good at down the road. Number 3, we're getting our books in place, making sure that whatever we've done for the first month, 3, 6, 9 months, hopefully not longer than a year, whatever we were personally doing on our books can be fixed, especially with the chart of accounts being set up properly. And number 4, we've got a sales rep. And number 5, as unsexy as this answer might be, it's time to hire another technician. What's happening here is, as an owner, you have 3 stages in your work life and as you're building a business. Depending on your goals. If your goal is to be a technician and drive a truck and do a service here and there every day for the rest of your life, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not how I built Proof. That's not how I wanted to do it, but this is a personal preference for you. You can do it how you want. But here's the journey. If you're building a company that you want to grow without you, something that I'm very blessed to be in this situation with Proof, it is growing at a very nice clip with not a lot of hand-holding from me, then this is the process. Number 1, you've heard me say this before, but listen up, now apply it. Number 1, you do what you have to do. So when you first start your business, you're everything. You're the technician, you're answering the customer service calls, you're looking for referrals, you're running the marketing, you're the one managing the bank account and the finances, you're all these things. Number 1, you do what you have to do. Number 2, you graduate to doing what you're good at. So whatever that is, if you're a technician, then you're good at the technical aspects and training other technicians and developing protocols for services and focusing on other service lines, all these things. You have the technical aspect down. If you come from sales, step number 2 is you get really into the sales aspect of a company, which is very, very important. And it is overlooked so often. Your business doesn't survive without sales. I don't care how good of a technician you are. So number 1, you do what you have to do. Number 2, then you do what you're really good at. And number 3, this is when you're at the peak. This is when, in my opinion, you've achieved what businesses from the perspective of the owners is designed and what they're created for. And that is, you do what you want to do. This is the ultimate freedom, in my opinion. This is everything. This is why I build businesses, is so that I can do what I want to do. And what you want to do doesn't necessarily mean sell off into the sunset, go find a beach and live there the rest of your life. Look at me. I'm recording podcasts. I've recorded 2 today. So it's like, you do what you want to do. And the funny thing is, and I've said this a lot, but when you start doing what you want to do, you get really, really good at it because you don't have to do it anymore. You wake up and you're like, man, I really like recording podcasts, or I really like helping startup companies, or angel investing, or I like driving a truck around and solving really difficult problems that other technicians couldn't solve. Or I like training the technicians, or I like running a route once a week. Whatever it is, there's no right or wrong. When you get to this level of business ownership where you get to control your time and you get to spend time doing what you want to do, your business is going to explode. This is because you already have people that are doing every single thing in your business in a level where your business is growing without you. That's this level. The question is not, does my business survive without me? The question is, does my business grow without me? Because a business doesn't truly survive unless it's growing anyway. So those are the 3 steps. Number 1, you do what you have to do until you do what you're able to do what you're good at, and then you're finally able to do what you want to do. And that's the order. I hire a technician first. That's my first hire. Office admin, Swiss Army knife. Number 3, an accountant as a contractor, part-time a contractor, a few hours a month. Number 4 is that first sales rep, that person that's really hungry, has commission built into what they're being paid. And number 5, I hire that second tech. And then I just continue to build and continue to hire. Those are the first 5 hires that I would make if I was starting a pest control company in 2025. Make sure that you're a member of our Bug Bucks group, BUGBUX. Find us on Facebook, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you so much for listening to the Bug Bucks podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please show your support by subscribing and leaving us an honest 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you, and we'll catch you on the next episode.